Well, listen, the Braves just continue to make history, setting records never before seen. Last night, no different, as the Braves stretch out their longest or the longest streak of consecutive back-to-back win-loss, win-loss, win-loss in the history of Major League Baseball. 18 straight. The Braves, as Thanos said, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. We're hoping that streak ends tonight, though, as the Braves hit one game under 500, just 2.5 back of the New York Mets for first place in the NL East. But last night, get a big 6-1 win over the St. Louis Cardinals and got started early, pouring on a ton of runs early, and really just giving up that last run there in the ninth. It was a shutout until the end. Tomlin, I guess, had to blow it and give them that one run. But Braves get a big win last night. Big performance from Max Fried. He goes 6 innings, 0 earned runs, 7 strikeouts to just 1 walk. And then last year's MVP, Freddie Freeman, continues his hot streak, 3 for 4 with a home run. But Cam, we were talking about it yesterday. Do you bet on the Braves continuing a streak that we've never seen before and this amazingly balanced win-loss, win-loss, win-loss? Or do you bet against the streak and go with math, which would have told you the Braves should have lost last night? Well, they go out there and they play one of their better games of the season, I thought, so far in that 6-1 win. Offense got started early against John Lester and never really let up. So it was good to see, but tonight we're hoping they break that streak.
Yeah, we're hoping, but I mean, I'll go all in on the streak. I think the streak will continue.
19?
19, yeah. I just, until they can prove me wrong, I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not too confident in this Braves team. They're not terrible, but they're not good. They're just average where they are right now. The Cardinals are struggling, but still have a better record than them by, half a game. So we'll see what happens tonight. But, of course, a good win last night. Fried turned into his former self last year, who was pretty good last year. Freddie Freeman looking like the former NL MVP that he was last year. So that's a good thing. But this roller coaster of a season, I think it's just going to be the same thing that we've seen all year tonight.
I hope you're wrong, and I think you will be wrong. They're playing J.A. Happ, another lefty. I think the Braves are going to see 3 consecutive lefties, so Jock Peterson will probably be down in the bottom of the order like we saw him last night, where he's batting 6 or 7. Ozzie Albies leading off with Freddie Freeman after him, or Soler after him, excuse me. But Jorge Soler, speaking of it, hits a 2-run bomb last night. This is a dude that 2 years ago, Cam, hit 48 home runs in a season, but had a rough outing last year, and the Braves got him for next to nothing. So a bat, if he can just rekindle a little bit of what he was able to do a couple years ago, then that should be a really big power bat in this Braves lineup. You also get 2 hits from Austin Riley. Dansby Swanson with another RBI as he continues to try to up his batting average throughout the season. Adam Duvall 0 for 3, but man, got robbed right at the wall. So we're starting to see Adam Duvall get some of that power back in this Braves lineup as well. So I don't know if I'm with you on the average to or bad lineup. I think this lineup, as soon as Snitker can find that balance and find where he wants to put these guys, I've said about Dansby Swanson before, I think the further down in the lineup he is, the better he is because it's less pressure on him. Ozzie Albies in the leadoff role is obviously an experiment right now. He goes 0 for 4 last night, so that's not what you're looking for out of your leadoff guy. But I don't know, just going through, maybe Jock Peterson, but you don't inherently like him against lefties, but he goes 2 for 4 last night. So maybe we do see Jock Peterson, even against lefties, move up back to the top of the lineup. But, man, coming up tonight, you're facing J.A. Happ, a guy who has over a 6 ERA right now. You're sitting out Drew Smyly, who he's got around a 4, but 7 wins for Drew Smyly, and he's been a lot better since the beginning of the season. The thing with Drew Smyly has just become first time through the lineup, good. If you can get through that first inning, he's good through the first part of the lineup. Once you get that second look, it gets a little bit sketchy. You cannot leave Drew Smyly in for 3 trips through the lineup. It's not going to work out well for you. So if you can get 5 innings out of Drew Smyly tonight, turn it over to the bullpen, because last night they didn't have to work too hard. Max Fried goes 6 innings for you. Bullpen didn't have to do as much as we've seen in the past. So go out there, Drew Smyly, just get us through 5. I'll put it at that. If Drew Smyly can get you through 5 innings tonight, you're feeling pretty good.
I mean, yeah, you should.
If he gets crooked in the first couple of innings, which Drew Smiley has been prone to do, different story. But if you can get through 5 with Drew Smiley, you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, you should. And everything's in the Braves, favor for this series and the next up and coming series. A 3-game set against the Nats, another 3-game set against the Reds. Then you play a Nats again for a 3-game set, and then the Marlins. So this schedule is looking favorable for them to get over 500 and take the division lead.
You said 500.
Yeah, I said 500. I know
you've been scared to say that.
You're being optimistic today, so why not me? I think so. So, I mean, they have a favorable schedule to run the table and take the division lead before they get into some brutal series against the Giants and the Dodgers. So it's time to take advantage. And it really starts tonight. It started yesterday. They won yesterday, took care of business. Now, can you break this little 18-game streak of win-loss, and start winning some games? Get a little hot streak.
You sure hope so, because this has been just the definition of mediocre for the Atlanta Braves. But flip side of that, you've been playing catch up a little bit with the New York Mets. They've now lost 3 consecutive games, 2 of those to the Marlins, who are going for the sweep tonight. And if you look at that pitching matchup in that game, I'd probably be favoring the Marlins tonight in that matchup. So the Mets currently sitting on a 3-game losing streak, have a tough matchup tonight, at least pitching matchup tonight against the Marlins. So if you're the Braves, you could come out of this series or going into tomorrow really for looking for a sweep of the Cardinals and only a game and a half back of the New York Mets. I will say this, because you threw the Reds in there. I think the Reds are better than a lot of people think.
Yeah,
that's a good baseball team. So that's going to be a tough series. And then the Nationals always give you a tough series, but Nationals below 500 team, play them twice coming up in the near future. And then after that, you play the Baltimore Orioles, who have been really bad. So yeah, I think there's a legitimate chance in the next couple of weeks that the Braves overtake the Mets in the division. I mean, the Mets are still a good baseball team. But they, much like the Braves, have been dealing with injuries. No Jacob deGrom for them right now. Haven't had Syndergaard all year. Currently without, why can't I think of his name right now? Shortstop. But they do get Javier Baez. So weird, I guess, 4 or 5 games for the Mets as they try to get this lineup together. I think they're going to be better in the near future, but while they're trying to figure out this lineup, I think the Braves have to take advantage.
They're giving me NFC East vibes. They really are playing catch up and who's going to be the worst team, who's going to be the best team. But I mean, you're right. These games are favored in the Braves. They're favored for the Braves to take over the division. The Mets are basically trying to give them the division right now. Losing 3 games in a row, might get swept tonight. They're going on a little cold streak, and the Braves have a chance to win some games these next coming weeks and take over this division and do what everybody told them to do. Buy in, don't sell out your fans, and see if you can put a winning product on the field.
For sure. And again, that game coming up tonight, the Braves will have Drew Smiley on the mound going up against J.A. Happ. But we are not done talking about baseball. Just switching to a little bit more local, the Savannah Bananas get a big 10-0 win last night. They advanced to the championship series in the Coastal Plains League. We're going to catch up with their manager, Tyler Gillum, coming up next. I guess head coach. They call it head coach in this one. But it's been a phenomenal season for the Bananas. So they're going to play in a 2-game championship series. They actually just hit the road. They're going to Morehead City for their game, and then they'll come back Friday for game 2 of that at historic Grayson Stadium. So we'll catch up with Tyler Gillum about that. Also have a ton of college football and NFL stuff to dive into. I know reading through Twitter, you see all the reporters that we follow like live tweeting from training camp, and it's just like, oh, this guy looks amazing. This guy, shirt off, boom. Oh, we're in pads now. This guy, 20% body fat. He's an amazing offensive lineman. He's going to be huge for us this year. Wow, did you see that catch by that rookie wide receiver? He's going to be big. And you're just like reading it, and you're like, it's training camp. How big is it going to be? And then Kyle Pitts catches that touchdown yesterday where he has the ball in his hands, gets kneed out by a defender, and goes and re-catches it in the end zone for a touchdown. And I'm already ready to make him a Hall of Famer. It's amazing what the difference between outside looking in, like, hey, you guys need to calm down, versus when it's your team. Oh,
yeah, I mean,
crown them NFC South champs.
Kyle Pitts is a genetic beast, and I've seen some stuff on Twitter that say Julio who. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, let's be careful.
Slow your roll now. Slow your roll. He hasn't played the game yet, but I'm definitely excited because I mean, just leaping for that pass. It was a good pass by Matt, right on the money.
Oh, that was
and a good defense.
If you want to
too.
talk about comparing him to Julio, that was the Matt Ryan to Julio Jones pass. Where it's like, I don't care that there are 4 guys around you.
Yeah, I'm throwing it
You're
right to
taller
you.
than them, so I'm just
Yeah.
going to put it up and let you make a play.
He put it on the money though.
Yeah.
But it was good defense as well. So that's a good thing. Our defense is just not giving wide open touchdowns in the end zone. So a couple of weeks, man. We're looking forward to it.
That is one thing I've loved about Matt Ryan throughout his career in Atlanta is he has no problem forcing a ball. Like, especially if it's to a guy like Tony Gonzalez or a guy like Julio Jones or Roddy White. It doesn't matter if you're covered over the top and underneath. He's going to put it in there and give you a chance to make a play. I mean, a lot of times we see that ball get tipped down and just it's an incomplete pass. Yeah, but I would so much rather my quarterback try to make that throw than, and this is just me watching as a fan. I know a lot of coaches would be like, oh, you got to take the check down. You can't force it in there. I would so much rather watch Matt Ryan try to force it into Julio Jones on a 15-yard dig than just like check it down for a 1-yard gain.
Agreed.
Like, that's been one of my favorite things watching. We said it about tight ends. If you're a tight end and you play for the Atlanta Falcons, you're going to get the football.
You are.
Like, Hayden Hurst came to the Falcons last year after playing with a really good football team in the Ravens and had a historic year for him.
Austin Hooper.
Yeah, Austin Hooper. Matt Ryan made him into a legitimate tight end. It's because he's going to force feed you the football if you're a tight end. And apparently he's already starting to do it with Kyle Pitts. So love to see it. Kyle Pitts making some plays out there. I mean, hey, I'll say this. That catch that Tim Tebow made a few days back in practice, it looked like an NFL tight end.
I'm telling you, he's going to get a touchdown at the tight end position this year.
I was going to say, I think he's going to make the football team, but we'll wait and see. Jaguars, that's been a roller coaster of a training camp so far already for them in terms of performance there. So much to dive into, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, catch up with Tyler Gillum, head coach of the Savannah Bananas, as they get ready for the championship series there in the Coastal Plains League. So much more to come here on Second Down. We'll be right back after this. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source. We'll dive into a little buy, sell, hold college football style coming up in a little bit. Also, Ryan Davis, former Jaguar, going to join 3 and Out coming up at 3 o'clock. And we'll also catch up with Anthony Trace from Pro Football Focus coming up in the 3 o'clock hour as well. But in the city of Savannah, playoff baseball is all the rage right now as the Savannah Bananas get ready to play in the Coastal Plain League Championship Series. And joining us now here on Second Down, the head coach of the Savannah Bananas, Tyler Gillum. Coach, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having us, man.
Absolutely, man. And heading up to North Carolina for the game 1 of that championship series coming up tomorrow night. Before we dive too much into that, just kind of explain to the folks listening how the playoffs work in the Coastal Plain League.
Yeah, so this year it was basically 2 rounds, 2 3-game series. So first round was we got home field advantage because we won overall record. So first round we played at home, then we went on the road for game 2, and then we came back home for game 3, which was last night. We've got a day off today, and we are headed to the championship series. So championship series starts Thursday. Thursday, we are on the road playing in Morehead City, and then we will come home on Friday and play Friday night.
And so heading on the road, game 1 coming up against the Morehead Marlins. But last night, man, rain delay after rain delay for you guys. You do end up getting the 10-0 win. But I'm curious, in a baseball dugout in that locker room, when you have so many rain delays, what do the different activities look like?
Oh, in Banana Land, it's absolutely insane. There's tarp slides. There's nacho eating contests. There's karaoke. There's arm wrestling. There's dancing on the dugout. There's push-up contests. It's full chaos the entire rain delay. So we're not just hanging out. There's things going on.
Well, I was going to ask, because there's so many conversations and decisions that go into rain delays, especially when you're the manager of a team. Like you're having guys eating nachos and doing arm wrestling contests while you're trying to figure out how long the rain delay is going to be. So whether or not you send your starting pitcher back out there or you go to a bullpen game.
Yeah, we went to the bullpen after that. So Kyle Leweek started for us. He's been awesome for us. He's a 4-year Banana, and he kind of did his job. He got us to the spot we needed to get to, and the team we were playing had a lot of left-handed hitters. So we went to one of our best left-handed arms out of the bullpen, Jared Beck, and he ended up taking us 4 more innings there and pitched phenomenal. Didn't give up a run, and then we handed it off to our closer, Dylan Cunningham, another lefty. And so, the arms last night were phenomenal.
Tyler Gillum, head coach of the Savannah Bananas, on with us here on Second Down. I do want to dive into this championship series, but just people have been following along. They've seen, and you guys always have interesting uniforms, but they've seen the newest uniforms, the NIL uniforms that you guys have come out with, and really in a partnership with your guys where it's just their faces plastered all over the Savannah Banana uniforms. Where did that idea originate from?
Yeah, it actually originated from a lot of our front office. Obviously, the name, image, and likeness came out from NCAA, and once that did, all of us kind of started talking and what the possibilities were. And with the Bananas, we're always looking to be the first, the best, or the only. And we said, hey, this is a way that we can do something really stand out, do something really cool for the guys, do something that's unique. And it's really our whole entire front office, coaching staff, some of the players. We all just kind of had a little get together and talked about different scenarios, and that's what we came up with. And it was awesome. I think we ended up selling 220 individual jerseys were bought by fans of all the players. So that's a pretty good number.
Oh, for sure. And working with the Bananas, and when you saw name, image, and likeness and all that being passed through, I know July 1st, the day it kicked off in Georgia, when you work with the Bananas, you had to be excited when you saw the NIL stuff coming out because, as you kind of mentioned there, you were already perfectly positioned for these players to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think we got one of the best brands in sports, and, we're always looking to do things different and also just do things well for the people inside of our organization. That's the way that we can kind of step up do something a little bit different, do something unique, but also help the players out, put a couple dollars in their pocket. So it's pretty cool. Definitely kind of a learning test along the way. I mean, it's new to everybody, so everybody's kind of figuring this thing out as we go.
Absolutely. And you see the different celebrations that you guys do are great, and the antics in the stands are fun. But when you have a guy that introduces himself before a appearance at the plate, that's next level to me. That's some kind of bravado.
Yeah, that's Bill Leroy. He's a legend here in Banana Land. He's been with me for 4 summers, which is really unique in summer collegiate baseball. He's one of our main leaders. He's our catcher, and he's got a lot of personality, and he ran that off, and man, it blew up on social media. It's really cool, but he's a stud, man. I'm happy he's getting some of this pub because he deserves it. He's a big piece of what we do here in Banana Land.
Well, I do find it funny because so many people really take, and I'm not saying you guys don't, but take every aspect of sports seriously, from practice to walking out on the field to how you address the fans and to how you represent the team on the field. I think sometimes we see it get taken too seriously, and then we see a team like you guys where it's fun every step of the way, and oh, by the way, we're going to beat you 10-0 in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right, man. When I took the job in 2018, me and our owner, Jesse Cole, that's what we talked about. He wanted to have the best entertainment in sports, and I wanted to develop young men and dogpile at the end of the season. And so I said, hey, let's see if we can combine these things and have the best place to play baseball. And right now we're tracking towards that. I think we've had like 150 straight sellouts dating back to 2016, and we've got the most wins in the CPL over the last 6 years, and we got the best record in the league this year. And so we've got an unbelievable group of guys. It's not just entertainment, though. We do everything, and that's why I tell a lot of people we're trying to impact the most fans to come to a game to create never forget moments, and we're trying to be the best on the field too, and develop as players, help these guys reach their ultimate goal of playing Major League Baseball. So we try to do the best of everything.
And a majority of these guys are college players. What does that process look like when you're going out and trying to fill out this roster? Is it you reaching out to them, or with the brand and with the awareness people have around you now, is it kids coming to you?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. I've been coaching summer baseball for 10 years now, 4 with the Bananas, and there's a specific type of player that we're looking for. We're looking for, number one, the person has to be talented. So they have to be good. They have to put up some stats somewhere. 2, we're looking for toughness, guys that, can play through injuries or, play 4, 5, 6 days in a row, play in the heat, be able to get in at 2:00 in the morning, get back up the next day and play well. So toughness is a big piece. We're looking for people that are selfless because we have a lot of fans. We got over 4,000 fans that come to our game every night. We're trying to impact those fans and impact the people that are in our locker room and our organization. So selflessness shows up a lot. Hardworking. I want somebody that wants to really achieve something great in their life. So somebody that's going to show up early, stay late, do little things. And then really the last thing we look for is, what a Banana is outgoing, right? Somebody that brings enthusiasm, that's an energy giver, somebody that's electric every single day, that kind of sparks energy throughout the locker room every day. And we got a lot of those guys. This team's really, really special. Man, it's fun going to battle with these guys every day.
I was going to say, and really, you said talented. And this team, again, playing for a championship coming up in the Coastal Plain League. Just let's talk a little baseball here. I know we've been talking about all the macro. Let's talk about the micro, man. An amazing season. You guys went on a historic win streak towards the beginning of the season, just decimated a bunch of rivals inside the Coastal Plain League as the season has gone as well. Just talk about the makeup of this roster, man, because top to bottom, pitching, hitting, even the defensive side of the ball, we've seen highlights that go as far as SportsCenter. The makeup of this team is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, the makeup's what makes this whole thing, and that's what I'm trying to do when we're looking to put this roster together for the summer. You got to go find guys that love to play baseball. Not everybody loves to play summer baseball, so you got to find guys that love to play, the guys that are tough, the guys that want to get better every day. And I can't rant and rave about these guys that we have in this locker room enough, man. We've got Dan Oberst. He's playing with a fractured hand right now, like actually got an MRI. He's got a fractured hand. We got a couple guys with knee issues. And these guys don't want to come out. They want to play. They're every day they're running into the locker room like we're going to chase this thing. We're burning the boats. Here it comes. And these guys love playing for each other. Like if you hear them and you're around them, like they don't want to go home. They're ready to stay together and fight, and compete. So it's fun being around these guys. It's easy to coach. These guys are just built different. That's what a lot of people have been
Yeah.
the last 4 or 5 days. These guys are just built different.
Well, how many games in a row was it that you had to play last year once some of the COVID restrictions were lifted and you guys were actually able to play? Because if you want to talk about a measure of toughness, you guys ripped off a ton of days in a row where you had to play games just to get the season in.
Yeah, it's something like that, man. You lose count over time, man. You just got to keep in perspective. I mean, we could be doing a lot of different things. We could be
For sure.
actually working a real job somewhere overseas, fighting for the country, getting shot at, something like that, or we could have a sickness or something. We're fortunate to be able to go to the baseball field every day and get it to going. And so yeah, it's part of it, but that's what we sign up for, man. And if these guys want to play professional baseball, that's what it is. It's not going to get easier if you get to pro ball. It's going to get travel's going to get crazier. It's going to be longer, and you're going to be facing better players. So it's preparing these guys for life after baseball, but also if they want to go play Major League Baseball.
Well, no tickets on sale now for Friday's Game 2 of the championship series here, man. Just the atmosphere at a Savannah Bananas game, doesn't matter if it's regular season or playoffs, is going to be nuts. But for the fans in Coastal Georgia listening right now who maybe want something to do on Friday and want to experience this for the first time, just what is that atmosphere going to be like? It's a Savannah Bananas game, but it's also could be the game for a championship.
No doubt. Bring your party hat. That's what it's going to be, baby. Bring your party hat.
There you go. Tyler Gillum, head coach of the Savannah Bananas, joining us here on Second Down on the road up to North Carolina for Game 1 coming up tomorrow night. Tyler, we really appreciate the time, man. You guys travel safe and good luck tomorrow night.
Hey, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. You guys have a good day.
There you go. Tyler Gillum joining us here on Second Down. We got so much more to dive into. A little buy, sell, hold college football edition coming up, and then we'll get you into 3 and Out coming up at 3 o'clock. Christian Gokel alongside Cam Urshery. We got more to come here on Second Down after this. Big show coming up today on 3 and Out. BJ Bennett, Ben Troop, Kevin Thomas will be joined by Ryan Davis, former Jaguar. Apparently, one Timothy Tebow is having a heck of a training camp down there in Jacksonville. I know I had my doubts, Cam. I still do.
I don't.
But he's blowing up down there in Jacksonville. If you go to their website, it's Tim Tebow, like live cam. Tim Tebow did this. Preview of Tim Tebow tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, here's some stories about the rest of the team. I think this story is just going to get bigger as we get into the preseason. We actually get to see Tim Tebow in some live action. But I want to do a little buy-sell hold with you here. Some projections and some thoughts about the 2021 college football season as we are 24 days away, I believe, from college football kicking off. A month away now from Georgia, Clemson, kicking it off. One, it could be 2v4 if you follow along with ESPN's power rankings, week 1 of the season. You said you're going to be brokenhearted if Georgia loses that game.
Oh, man.
You still have 11 games after that at least.
You have to know me, man. I don't think there's been a season where Georgia's gone undefeated since I've been alive that I could think of.
There hasn't.
There hasn't. So,
there hasn't.
I mean, I would love to see that, just losing the game and then hoping you go to the SEC championship and you have to see Alabama. That's
well,
not
you
good.
still control your own destiny.
You do, but it's scary when your destiny lies playing Alabama.
You could probably lose another game after Clemson and still go to the SEC championship just so long as you beat Florida.
Yeah, but you don't want that to happen, though. I think this is the year where Georgia has to capitalize. I think you have to go undefeated this year in the regular season. It's one of those years you have the talent. You're the one out of all the contenders bringing back a starting
Lou
quarterback.
Holt said it. You're going to lose a game. So you're going to lose. It just matters when you lose. That's what's important. You can lose early and then develop that momentum. What you don't want to do is lose late. So let's dive into some of this buy-sell hold here. Number 1 on the buy-sell hold, Emory Jones will be a top 5 quarterback in the SEC.
I'm going to hold on that. And the reason why is there's some talent in the SEC. It really is. I'll hold on that right now. I usually don't hold. I usually do buy or sell, but I'll hold. I got to see what Dan Mullen does with him. So I'll hold.
Emory Jones, according to PFF, we'll have Anthony Trayshawn a little bit later, was the number 1 ranked rushing quarterback in college football last year, above Malik Willis at Liberty, above Justin Fields at Ohio State. When it came to his rushing efficiency, no one was better last year than Emory Jones. I think he's going to be really good, but so you have to start looking at the quarterbacks around in the SEC. Say JT Daniels is probably better. I'd say Matt Corral is probably better. I don't know about Bryce Young right now, but if I had to guess, just with what he's surrounded with, Bryce Young is going to be really good. Mm-hmm. But I mean, after that, I think it starts becoming a little bit of a toss-up. We don't know what the Texas A&M, whichever one of the quarterbacks they go with, you don't know what the Texas A&M quarterback's going to look like, right? Tennessee, they have about 5 quarterbacks there. Don't know what it's going to look like. I do think Max Johnson's going to be good at LSU.
Yeah, I think he's going to be solid.
But like Bo Nix, yeah, he's got Mike Bobo calling plays for him now, and he's got Brian Harsin in there. They're going to go under center a little bit more, and it's more of a quarterback-friendly offense. But is he better than Emory Jones, who, again, Dan Mullen has number 1 and number 2 in the SEC in terms of rushing yards by a quarterback, Nick Fitzgerald and Tim Tebow.
Okay.
Both of those came out of Dan Mullen's offense, and now you have Emory Jones there. I think Emory Jones can be really good, so I'm going to buy that. I think Emory Jones, if it's 5, it's 5, but I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the SEC. All right. Sam Howell will throw for more yards and touchdowns than DJ Uiagalelei.
Oh, yeah, I buy that. I buy that. Sam Howell, even though it was a down year last year, I want to say he threw 26 touchdowns, 7 picks in that range. Dude's a gunslinger. I love him. I love him. He might be the first overall pick, but I think they're going to put up a lot of points. I don't think that North Carolina defense is going to be good again, just like they were bad last year. So I think he's going to get the ball a lot and put up a lot of points. So definitely.
This one's tough. If I do buy it, it's because if North Carolina's losing games and they're having to play catch up, I'm going to sell it. Wow. I think DJ Uiagalelei is my early favorite to win the Heisman. He's as big as Cam Newton, maybe not as fast. I think maybe big as Ben Roethlisberger is what we'll put out there. But he's got an absolute cannon for an arm. Justin Ross is coming back. They have a couple of 5-stars that we haven't seen yet that have been getting rave reviews out of training camp. And you lost Travis Etienne, so I think they're going to have to sling the ball around a little bit more. I like Lynn J. Dixon, but he's not Travis Etienne. Give me DJ. I think DJ is going to throw for more yards and touchdowns than Sam Howell. All right. Zamir White will lead Georgia in rushing.
You could buy that. I mean, you could buy that. I think he'll get the most touches. That's why. But you could buy that. Now, most productive. I mean, just because you have the most rushing yards don't mean you're the most productive. I could say that because you can have more yards per carry and be productive.
Yep.
If Kendall Milton comes back out and that knee is looking well, I love him. I told you last year I thought he was like a baby Nick Chubb. I think he can emerge.
He's like 6'3".
Kid is huge.
He's
man.
huge.
He's huge. So we'll have to see. But I think this is going to be an offense where they spread that ball, spread the wealth, and you're going to see a slew of running backs and a lot of passing as well.
I'm going to sell. I'm going to take the field. I think Zamir White will probably be the number one back through the first few weeks of the season, but then I think Kenny McIntosh or Kendall Milton take over that role, and then James Cook's going to get his touches. So, yeah, I'm going to sell. I don't think Zamir White will be the leading rusher by the end of the year. All right. Clemson will lose a regular season game.
You know, I'm a homer, man. I buy.
Well, it doesn't have to be Georgia. It could be any of them on the schedule.
I think Georgia's the only team on this schedule that can beat them. I don't know if they play
any given Saturday, Cam.
Any given Saturday, but I don't see it in the ACC. The ACC is down. This is not the ACC from 6-7 years ago where you have Florida State prominent and you got some teams that could give you some good competition. They don't really play anybody in the ACC this year. I think their best team that they play, looking at it, might be Louisville or NC State, but it's not strong. It's just Georgia. So I'm going to buy that because I'm a homer. I need them dogs to win, so I'll go Georgia.
I'm going to buy it, and I'm not going to say it's going to be Georgia. Boston College is better, and Clemson just finds a way to lose a dumb one, typically, right? Do. They've had some undefeated seasons, but they also have lost to Pitt.
Yeah, Pitt, yeah.
Right, like 6-loss Pitt. So I'm gonna buy that. I think Clemson will lose a regular season game. All right, this one seems pretty easy. Buy, sell, hold. Oklahoma and Texas will be savagely trolled every time they lose a Big 12 game.
Oh, definitely. I buy that. They want to go to the SEC because they think the SEC is better for them. They don't think they can find anything in the Big 12. I can see Oklahoma saying that because they've owned the Big 12. Understandable. But Texas, they haven't done nothing in a very long time. I think since Colt McCoy, I could go that far back. So I could buy that.
Oh, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
If Oklahoma loses a regular season game and it's to a Big 12 team, it's going to be bad. And Texas is going to lose multiple games this year to Big 12 teams, and it's going to be rough every single time. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be like Astros cheating scandal level of trolling from fans in the stands, and I'm looking forward to it. All right. Buy, sell, hold. Miami will start 0-2. You start in Mercedes-Benz with Alabama, and then you come home and play App State in your first home game.
Oh man, I'll sell that. I don't think they'll start 0-2. They're gonna lose to Alabama. We all know this. They're not good enough to beat Alabama, but I think that's gonna be a wake-up call. I mean, playing Alabama, you really don't need a wake-up call losing to them.
Could it be a wake-up call, or could you have like half your team
just
like
down
in the hospital?
Yeah, depleted, down. Body could be messed up after taking a beating from Alabama, but you hoping Miami is building a culture to get back to the old Miami and not the one we've seen for the past 10 years. So you would hope after losing to Bama, they could go handle business against App State.
So you're selling it.
Yes.
I just don't know why anybody schedules a Sun Belt team. And not taking nothing away from the Sun Belt, but it's not good for you. You have to pay them, and they're going to probably take you to the edge. App State, think about it. Everybody always points to the Michigan one, right, where they're still an FCS team. They beat Michigan in the Big House. Maybe the best upset of all time, right? Yes. But they've also, in recent years, they took Penn State to the edge. And I think that one was like in week 2, where Penn State had their home opener and they got taken to the edge by App State. Like it took a miracle for Penn State to pull that game. They did it at Tennessee not too long ago, where App State took them to the very edge there in Neyland. So like, why in the hell are you scheduling App State, and why are you putting them week 2 just after you play Alabama? I think it's nuts. I mean, look at what happened to Iowa State last year when they scheduled Louisiana.
Yeah.
You got beat. And that's a team that ended up fighting for a playoff spot. What did they finish? 5th?
Yeah, they finished 5th.
5th. And they lost to Louisiana. Georgia Southern in the not too distant past has gone down to the swamp and beaten Florida.
Yeah.
You're Why? Right. Coastal Carolina beat a top 10 BYU team last year.
Yep, and the number 2 pick.
Why do you schedule Sunbelt teams? It's not good for you. I think I'm going to hold, but I do think there's a legitimate chance Miami starts 0-2 this year, and all of a sudden, Manny Diaz might get fired if that happens.
Yeah,
because then you play like a JUCO, and then you play Michigan State, and then you have to start your ACC schedule.
It's a possibility they lose to Michigan State too. That's a possibility.
I honest to God have no idea.
Mel Tucker's been in a nice program up there.
I have no idea what to think about Michigan State. So
I do.
I
Best friend plays there, man. So I know a little bit something.
Now we get the bias opinion coming in here too. All right. A non-quarterback will win the Heisman Trophy. Buy, sell, hold.
I sell that. I think this is even though we have a lot of question marks about the new upcoming quarterbacks, I think this is the year of the quarterbacks. DJ, Matt Corral, JT, those are my top. Oh, Spencer.
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. Sam Howell. You got a whole bunch of quarterbacks that's going to put up big numbers. I definitely buy that. I think if
there's one guy to watch out for early on, it's Tank Bigsby out of Auburn.
Auburn. Okay.
I mean, look at what Kevin Harris did last year in Mike Bobo's offense, and now Tank Bigsby, according to a lot of people, is the best running back in college football coming back. I would keep an eye out for him. All right. I'm gonna sell it. I think there's too many quarterbacks.
Yeah, I meant sell.
Heisman trophies Heisman Trophy voters love quarterbacks. All right. Coastal Carolina will repeat as the Sun Belt champion.
You know what? I will sell that. And it's hard to go undefeated back-to-back seasons. It's even hard to go 11-1 the next season after going undefeated. And then Louisiana, who's in their conference, correct? They're not bad. They're a good team. They beat Iowa State last year, who's finished top 5. That's my selection to win this year. So I like what Coastal Carolina is bringing back, but it's hard to repeat. We've seen that in every sport.
Yeah, Jamie Chadwell's built a heck of a program up there with the Chanticleers, and you get Grayson McCall back. Isaiah Likely is going to be an early pick in the NFL draft from the tight end position. They have a lot of dudes on the defensive line. I think they're clearly one of the favorites to win, and probably should be the favorite, but it's so hard to be the team where everybody now has a target on you every time. Play them. I think the Sun Belt's super talented this year. I think App State's due for a bounce back. I think Georgia State's going to be really good this year. I'm going to sell it. Yeah, I don't think they repeat as the Sun Belt champion. I think they're really good. I don't think they repeat. We got to take a quick break. We'll come back with more on Second Down right after this. Second Down on ESPN Radio is presented to you by the Uniform Source, making the natural transition here from college football buy, sell, hold to Olympic weightlifting. Cam, how much Olympic weightlifting have you followed so far this Summer Olympics?
None at all. I told you there's some sports I didn't even know existed.
You didn't know weightlifting was a sport?
In the Olympics? No, I didn't know. You guys have taught me a lot.
I think that's one of the pillars of the Olympics. I think like you have like all the track and field stuff and wrestling, and I'd say weightlifting is got to be one of the pillars. All right, let me ask you this just before we start this conversation. Do you know what a snatch is in weightlifting?
No.
It's where you take the bar from the ground and lift it directly overhead, like nonstop, right? So just imagine picking up weight from the ground on a barbell and just lifting it straight over your head, right?
Insane.
How much weight do you think you could lift straight off the ground and just put it over your head?
Not a lot.
I'll say this: you are strong, like strong. If you can lift 200 pounds like that, you're strong.
Oh, they're doing that in the Olympics?
Like elite strong. No, but I'm just saying, like an average person at the gym, if you can lift 200 pounds in a snatch, you're strong.
Yeah, that's scary.
Right? Well, my guy Lasha Talakads from Georgia, not the state of Georgia, the Republic of Georgia.
Okay.
Right? But he still got Georgia across his chest, so hey, get him. My guy Lasha just won gold medal in weightlifting for his weight class, and he snatched 491 pounds. My man took 500 pounds dead off the ground and just ripped it over his head.
Where do they find?
And then, but wait, it gets better. And then you know what a clean is.
Yeah,
you just pick it off the ground to your chest, and then a jerk is where you put it overhead. 584 pounds.
Woo!
Ripping it off the ground to his chest and then pushing it over his head to win the gold medal. The best part of this is in Olympic weightlifting, you don't just like alternate person versus person. You try to like lift a heavier weight and go back and forth. It's you have to tell them what you're going to try to lift, and then you get your 3 attempts to lift your heaviest combined snatch and clean and jerk. He doesn't go with his first attempt until the last person, like his best competitor, has done their last. So his first attempt is better than your best attempt.
That's embarrassing.
So it's he had a combined with just 409 over 1,000 pounds to win the gold medal. Never been seen before. Both of them are world records. So just unbelievable stuff. Wanted to make that natural transition to weightlifting here on the show. Big show coming up today on 3 and Out, though. We'll catch up with Ryan Davis, former Jaguar, coming up next. If you miss any portion of our show today, check it out on ESPNCoastal.com.